This episode of Rookie Hunter is brought to you by the Wild Sheep Foundation. Adventures in sheep country can change your life, and as residents of BC, we're very fortunate to have 3 different species of sheep in our province. The Wild Sheep Foundation made a huge impact on us, and after attending their annual convention, Sheep Show, in Reno, Nevada, we got to see what conservation looks like firsthand. The Wild Sheep Foundation's ability to raise and put millions of dollars on the ground each year to keep these majestic animals on the mountaintops worldwide is unmatched. The Wild Sheep family is a diverse group of people from all walks of life, and membership is open to anyone. Whether you're a seasoned pro, it's your first time on the mountain, or you just like to see sheep on the hillside, you can sign up and join today. Kelly and I are lifetime members, but you can become an annual member for just $45. You can also become a member of the Lesson 1 Club, which is the only club you want to get kicked out of. If you've never taken a North American or international ram, you can join us in the Lesson 1 Club for an extra $25. Membership also includes entry into a draw for 3 separate Dall sheep hunts, which will be given away at Sheep Show in 2019. For more information on the Wild Sheep Foundation and to become a member, head over to wildsheepfoundation.org. Hey guys, welcome to episode 63 of Rookie Hunter. This is another one where we decided to load up the backpacks and record from a hillside. We got some good news, so we're going to be telling you about our new plans for our fall hunt. I'd also like to welcome the Wild Sheep Foundation as our title sponsor. I also want to remind you guys to check out North Arm Knives. Links to both of them are up on our website, which is theRookieHunter.com. You can also find all of our contact information and links to our social media if you head over there. And as always, please leave us a rating or review in iTunes or whatever app you're using to listen to the show. Let's get into this one. Sit back, relax, crack a cold beer, and enjoy episode 63 of Rookie Hunter.
Beautiful sound.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Take these off. Kelly Molnar.
Mike.
So in the background, you can hear a dog chewing on a mule deer bone.
Yeah.
And that's a very familiar bone because we hiked up to the spot where I got my 2-point from last year. Kelly had never been up here, so that we'd kind of retrace the hunt with you. And
yeah, we went through the whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Right down to the point where we found the bones, and
the dogs found them anyways.
yeah, the dogs are gnawing on them now. So that, what was that, like 8 months ago?
At least, yeah, for sure. And it's kind of fitting too because I brought over the meat too. I just ground some up, and
we're gonna do a meat trade.
Yeah, fish for mule deer.
Cool.
Essentially, we share meat anyway, so it was going to come to you, but I'll gladly exchange for some fish.
Yeah, it's amazing how much you remember, of the hunt.
Yeah, it's cool, man, to come back up here because I haven't been here since then.
Yep.
So to go back and find the spot where you first spotted them, find like some of the rocks that I was hiding behind and all that kind of stuff. It was cool, and we got caught in a little downpour up here, which brought back some memories because that's exactly what happened when I was up here. It was a beautiful morning, like super sunny and warm, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere this storm just ripped up through the valley, and
yeah,
we got the same thing today.
Yeah, we had to throw the rain gear on.
Yeah, good thing. I never leave home without rain gear. It was funny, man, because I almost didn't bring it because I brought a different pack today, just this North Face thing.
Yeah.
And my rain gear was in my Fjallraven pack. I'm like, I should probably bring it. That's a good thing because it was pouring rain for a while.
Pouring. There's a point where you just keep hiking and you're like, I'm okay with getting a little bit wet, and then it just switches gears.
Yeah, man.
And then the clouds open and you're like, hey, we gotta stop, pull everything out of the packs. Yeah. I started putting my rain gear in a dry bag and just I sit on it and then close it all up and try to. I also put my game bags in a vacuum packed.
Yeah, that's a good call too.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. It's only about, it's not even an inch thick. and it kind of covers the whole back pad of your pack,
Nice.
so you can hide it away pretty good.
Right.
So, yeah, trying to keep everything as flat as you can. Other than,
Totally.
you know, you get like jet boils and cups.
Yeah.
And,
I went through and tried to organize all my stuff because Ashley and I, we did like a 9K hiking overnight trip, which was fun. So I had all of our backpacking stuff, which is obviously there's crossover between that and hunting. And basically what I did was like put everything into those dry bags, and as I put stuff into it, like they're all sort of like things in each dry bag, and each time I put something in, I would write on a piece of paper what I put in that bag, and then after everything was packed in there, I threw the piece of paper on the top and then rolled up the dry bag.
Right.
So I know exactly what's in there, because we were talking about this on the way up here. It's such a pain in the ass when you're like, this was kind of a last minute idea to come up here and hike. I was rushing from the studio to come and meet you, and I was like, this is one of those things where that's where you start ripping through all your equipment and throwing it all over the house and stuff like that. You don't know where anything is, but now I'm hoping that if I can keep this system going, I know what came out of those bags and what goes back, or I can just grab the whole thing and whip it into my backpack, which is kind of nice. So
Yep. Yeah, you never realize how much time it takes
yeah,
to throw
I know.
everything in your pack, right?
And it's stuff I bring hunting anyways, even though it's kind of, so it works for just camping and for hunting trips.
Yeah.
Because before I had it all in Rubbermaids, and it's just, you open up the Rubbermaid and it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
There's just a mountain of stuff in here, and I had it split between hunting and backpacking stuff, but it just makes more sense now, so.
Dry bags.
Yeah.
I like those Outdoor Research lightweight ones.
Yeah.
And those things are strong, man. Like, I don't know. I thought dragging them up trees by ropes, like for bear,
Yeah.
right? Like, I thought that would just tear one of those open, but
No, they're pretty strong.
they last. They're not cheap though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
But I think I bought 3 30-liter ones.
Yeah.
And it seems big, but I mean, you can
Just roll it
if
down.
there's nothing in there, then
Yeah.
it's
They
no
weigh
weight.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a Baja bag too, which is like totally water. You could huck that thing in the lake and it'd be fine. But that one's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
That's the one I brought on the trip up north. But that thing's super durable, but it adds a bit of extra weight. So these Outdoor Research ones, like you have, are perfect because they're super lightweight and you can pack a ton of shit in there.
Yep. So, LEH came and went, and the draw results, I think everybody knows this. We posted it online anyways. But
Yeah.
how did you do? I feel like a jerk asking.
Fucking asshole. Unsuccessful.
It's just, that's common though. Like, I don't know what it is.
I was trying to think. So this is probably the 4th year that I've applied,
Yeah.
right?
But we all got the moose.
Yeah.
I mean, so
So
were
there
successful.
was successful.
Yeah.
So yeah, opening that up was pretty sweet to see the moose on there. It's funny, man, because previous years I was like always sort of expecting to get something. Especially, I don't know where this myth comes from, but I had heard that new hunters, they generally like do better in the draw. I think that's bullshit. Obviously, it's bullshit.
I think it's all random.
It is random. So anyways, I've never drawn anything.
It's beginner's luck though.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you play somebody in crib and you've never played before,
Yeah.
guaranteed you're gonna just kick their ass. Double skunk.
Exactly.
It's just the way it works.
So the moose, we'll come back to that. How'd you do, Kelly? You bastard.
Well, the moose, and then I got that mule deer doe tag again, which I had that before in this region that we
right now.
typically hunt, but I don't know. I figured like I wanted to go one region out because the trouble with that tag is you can only take one mule deer in a region.
Yeah.
So if you have a doe tag, then obviously you can shoot a buck if you see a buck and you pass it up, or you can shoot a doe, right, and use that privilege. But I decided to go one region over, so I'm not limited to anything, right?
Yep.
You can still get a buck in the region that you're in normally, and then you can get a doe somewhere else.
You can get up to 3 deer.
Yeah.
Spread throughout different regions, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think if we just stuck in our region, which is region 8, you could get 2 whitetail and 1 mule deer, right? Because there's different combinations. Just look at this.
I think you can only take 1 mule deer.
Just 1, but we could
in
do
region 8.
Whitetail buck
And
an
an
antlerless.
antlerless.
So that would be your 3.
Yeah.
Or you could do 2 mule deer, 1 from this region, 1 from another region.
Yep.
And a whitetail from wherever.
Yeah. Or you can, I'm pretty sure you can go 1 mule deer from this region,
Oh, okay.
1 from that region, and 1 from another region.
Gotcha.
So the provincial limit is 3.
Yeah.
And I think there's multiple combinations
Right.
how you can get there, but it's limited by each region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it might say mule deer 1. Mule deer antlerless 1, mule deer antlered 1, which means you can take 1 of each, but the total from that region is 1. So as soon as you take an antlerless or an antlered,
Yeah, it's one or the other.
in the season where they're open, or if you have a LEH, then you're done.
Yeah.
And then you got to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's mule deer. They're kind of like kokanee. They're all in schools. So
Yeah,
I don't
pretty
think you want
much.
people shooting
You don't want to wipe out
3
the
mule
whole-
deer in a region each
Yeah.
time, right? Like that's. It's a good thing they do that.
Which we could have done 2 years ago.
Hmm.
We could have wiped out 6 bucks, no problem that year.
Yeah, like in availability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would have been the end of it, basically. So yeah, it's a good thing. Do you want to
Yeah, we
explain
saw
how?
a bunch. Yeah, we saw a bunch of bucks that day.
Yeah. Wow, that whole season,
Yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
bachelor group,
Yeah.
over and over again.
It was 4-point though, and there was only 1. That was just a mess of antlers.
Yeah.
That's where I finally realized that we need a spotting scope because, we had 10 by 42 binos, and it's all fine. Like in most cases, they're great, but when you have a bunch of deer at 300 yards away, and they're all in a group, and they're changing positions as they're climbing slopes,
Yeah,
and you're
it's like-
trying to figure out which one out of the 8 is a 4-point.
Yeah.
That's where a partner with a spotting scope is going to be your best friend.
And this is probably something we should do. We're getting better at it, but like practicing the ability to point the shooter in the right direction as far as like, okay, you see this landmark, if you
Yeah.
go up, from there to the left, that part becomes really hard because it's like around here, it's like, okay, you see that burnt stump? Like, yeah, I see 20 of them. Which one are you looking at?
Yeah, see
So-
that tree?
Being able to like use the proper terms to get the shooter, because that was frustrating, man, trying to you're pretty sure you're on the right deer, but the last thing you want to do is shoot something out of season.
Yeah.
Stressful.
Yeah, for sure.
Even when I did get that 4-point that year, I don't know how many times I had to count it out to myself, like out loud, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's a 4-point. But you're still paranoid when you walk up to the thing.
Yep.
It's not going to be 4. That's your worst.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to take a shot that you're not
No.
comfortable with.
You know what I still think about is that 3-point. That thing was fucking huge.
Oh, yeah. Just super tall
Yeah.
points on it. Like, it wasn't a young 3-point.
No.
And I don't think mule deer, the points generally...
It
I
looked
don't
like
think
the most.
the age... Like,
Yeah.
I think you can have an older 3-point than a 4-point.
which
Is my
probably-
understanding. Maybe people can write in. But I know, like, when they get super old, then the racks start to, disintegrate in
Yeah.
terms of quality each year.
Mhm.
But, I mean, like, this was a healthy deer, and
Yeah.
it was a 3-point, but super tall, like 12-inch tines sticking up.
It kind of seemed to be leading the group.
Yeah, it did. So, I don't know. I feel like that one was older, but it was a 3-point.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe some clarification.
A euro amount on that. Well, I think antler growth is pretty dependent on how much water there is.
Which is pretty low here, I think.
Yeah, well, this year's been a little bit different. It's July
Yeah,
2nd today.
true.
and we're sitting underneath of a sill tarp.
Don't tell me.
Jesus
Christ.
Oh no.
Sakes, man.
Oh man.
Seriously?
We just had a dog drop right through the sill tarp.
What an idiot.
To be continued in a minute here. Well, I guess we don't really need it.
No.
Anyways, for now.
Good job, bud.
Holy shit.
What a disaster.
Let's go back to LEH, Kelly. Explain how the draw works in British Columbia.
I can't. Sorry, I just got to get past the fact of the dog jumping through the tent. So, LEH for moose, right? So it's shared hunt. You can go in with 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys.
Yep.
Is it anything? So if you're 2 guys, you can hunt 1 moose.
One, yep.
And if you're 3 or 4, I think you can do 2 moose.
Yep.
So we have 4 guys, so we can get 2 moose. Which I guess we'll make that call when we see the size of the first moose, hopefully, that we get. Yeah, it's further up north. Not as far as we went for sheep, but
halfway.
Yeah, halfway,
which is
central
still a
BC.
fucking long way up there.
Yeah. Little trail mix. I'm looking forward to it though.
Yeah, man.
It's a different terrain.
Yeah. Here, I'll be honest. You and I were having a little exchange back and forth, and I was worried because I didn't check out the area. You were kind enough to pick a spot with good odds while I was in Germany and set up the whole LEH thing. And we all just put our names in, and it was good to go. And we got drawn for it, and then I started to look at the area, and I'm like, oh man, like there's just roads everywhere. Like everywhere. So we talk about the whole road issue and backcountry access and stuff throughout BC. That area sort of puts it all into perspective. How many roads there are. It's incredible.
It's brutal.
And it's interesting. I zoomed out on the map on Google Maps, and there's areas that are even heavier logged than that one. So I don't know what year that satellite image was taken. So anyways, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh man, I don't know if this is like the kind of hunt that I want to do or not. And I'm like, should I like bow out of this and give somebody else the opportunity to do this type of hunt? Because my worry was that it wasn't going to be the kind of hunt that I want to do, which is like hiking in backcountry style off of roads. I don't want to do any truck or ATV or anything like that.
Right.
But thankfully, the more we looked at it, the better it started to look. And then the idea of bringing a canoe along, and setting up at this one lake in particular, and getting up to the north end of it and hiking in from there is sort of an option right now.
Yep.
So initially I was like, oh fuck, I don't know if this hunt's for me or not. Yeah. But luckily, I think we're figuring it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I totally understand the, like that morale. I don't know if morality is the right word, but like that.
No, it's not morale. It's like,
it's like the level of which you want to experience or suffer for the meat, or the adventure you want out of the whole experience.
That's probably the best way to put it, is like the adventure of it. And there will be a day when I want to hunt on an ATV, but I'm probably going to be in my late 60s. You know what I mean? So that's not to say that if that is your preference and the way you want to hunt, there's totally nothing wrong with that. Because there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of guys do it that way. And if your sole purpose for going out there is to get meat, then why not, right? But I think a lot of it too is I want to have something planned that's going to push me in these months leading up to it to get in shape and prepare and get extra equipment and all those kind of fun things that go along with it. Because it just stretches that hunt out further, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just going up there and hopping on a quad or something and cruising around. The journey starts now. The moment we get drawn for that tag, there's all the preparation that goes into it, which I enjoy the most. And then it's fun to push the boundaries of what we're capable of doing each year while we can, because we're going to get older and older and older, and what we can do is going to become less and less at a certain point. That being said, a moose is a big animal, so we have to be smart about it. And there's 4 guys going, and all of us need to be on the same page.
Yeah.
So that's where the safety part of it starts to come in. So if we're not all on the same page, then we have to find a middle ground that works for
Exactly.
everybody. And
especially in a group of 4, right? Like that's, yeah. I think that's where the complexities come in. Is you got 4 people.
Exactly, and that's where I started to worry a little bit. That
you know what it reminds me of? Being in a band.
Totally, 100%.
Exactly.
One guy's got a goal to, say perform on a certain stage, and that's like the 5-year plan is to get to a point where you can perform in this certain venue or a festival or whatever it might be. And this one is like, you've got a goal that is a certain hunt and it looks a certain way, and especially a moose hunt is kind of a special one for me. That's something that my dad was like, he'd apply for LEH every single year, and he'd be the first one on there checking to see if they were successful or not, and if they were, he'd be like over the moon excited. So I have a certain vision for a moose hunt, and I want that first hunt to be a certain way, and I think it's going to work out.
Right. Yeah, like that, I totally understand.
But yeah, I want to make it clear that it's not like if somebody wants to do it a different way, that it's lesser in any way. It's just a personal goal and a vision, and it just pushes me at this point in the year to start doing stuff to get ready for it, because we're looking at 150-pound pack loads, and all of us need to be able to handle that without getting hurt.
Yeah, and like, I guess where I was coming from was, for me, the moose hunt comes with an asterisk, right? And the asterisk is the area which they live and the amount of roads that we just talked about.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, we have a discrepancy in like when we hunt mule deer, when we hunt sheep, when we hunt mountain goat, like all these issues, they're not really relevant to those animals, but well, they are. But like when you look at moose, it's totally relevant. Like, those moose are cruising roads. They're in like the regions in central BC. Like, you look at the map at Google Earth, and it's just nothing but roads and cuts, right? And it's flat. It's all plateau.
Yeah.
So I think with moose hunting comes certain maybe habitats that aren't necessarily the Western hunter, mountain climber type habitat. So there's that. And then I was thinking too, like, your dad, like you said, applied over and over and over. They get limited chances. I was talking to a guy in trail. Chances are a little more limited in the Kootenays, but he's been applying for 26 years. And he hasn't got one. Yeah. So it depends where you're applying. The chances go up. But as much as I think everyone will have different goals with this hunt, and it will be a little more polarizing because just where moose live. Well, yeah, I mean, once we kind of zoomed in and we found some habitat we like with the lake and some, creek, marshy areas that, wind, you can take canoe up there.
Yeah.
Everybody can kind of do their own thing.
For
I'm
sure.
a couple of guys will bring ATV, and they might go one direction, and if we can do multiple things. The other thing with the asterisks on the moose is just the general size of the animal, right? Like, we've talked to numerous people on this podcast where you say, well, how far do you think you want to pack a moose? And then you throw out a number and you just get a laugh. because it's just a humongous, like minimum 150 pounds a quarter.
Yeah, you're
right?
looking at.
Yeah.
It'll be
Distances.
interesting, but
Yeah.
nothing's impossible. But you have to be smart about how you approach it. You have to
Where to, right?
trust your gut. And yeah, it goes back to those points we made on the last podcast. Is like, you don't want to take any unnecessary risks for yourself or for the animal.
Yeah.
You don't want it to drop in an area that you can't retrieve it from, and that. So,
Yeah.
and considering the time of day that we shoot it and all that stuff, it'd be nice to have enough daylight to at least get it all cut up.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to do a moose and last light like we
No.
did the bear. Fuck that.
No.
So
Yeah.
it'd be nice to get one early in the morning, but nothing's ever ideal. So
I do picture the moose in the lake, lifting its head up.
yeah.
Drool coming, or water coming out of its mouth.
Well, once we pick that lake, and we'll see if that's where we end up going, I got pretty excited because you can go up to like the northwest tip of the lake, and there's a stream that comes off of it, and there's really nice like marshy, wetland type areas and it's all quite a ways away from any
Yeah.
road.
Exactly.
So you're pretty isolated, and I think the main problem I was having with the roads is that you're dealing with competition, and
Yeah.
that's the worst feeling in the world. We've been there a couple times where you're in an area, you spot something, and there's like 3 other guys looking at the same animal. It's
Yeah.
like, this isn't fun.
No. Well, the good news is it is limited entry, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean there's not going to be other people there.
Mhm. Spike Fork bowls will be open.
Yeah.
It's same as here though, and those are hard to
Yeah.
find.
Yeah, you kind of go through the excitement of pulling the tag, and then I knew you were kind of going through that challenge, right?
Yeah.
Of trying to make sure it's something. So I got on Google Earth there. Kev actually saw the area,
Mm-hmm.
and it was great. And then just kind of scrolled around a little bit further, and just that outlet from that lake with all the marshiness, I can picture it.
Yeah, me
Right.
too. Because it's the Caribou region, which I had a cabin up there,
Yeah.
so it all looks kind of somewhat familiar.
Mm.
And I was able to find some Google images of the actual lake that other
Yeah.
people had taken in there,
Yeah.
and it looks pretty cool. So
Nice. Yeah.
hopefully we can get in there and find a spot to set up camp and all that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to get Kevin and Kyle on the podcast at some point here too,
Mhm.
and kind of go over what everybody else is thinking as far as what the hunt looks like for them, because we haven't really talked about it too much. I mentioned the canoe to Kev, and he was kind of stoked on that idea.
Yeah. Yeah, the planning is the exciting part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that it's surprising. I actually didn't expect it, but
I didn't
the
expect
moose
it at all.
the moose has caused a little bit of a more of discussion, right? Like
Yeah.
in terms of what kind of hunt we want to do, and what we're comfortable with,
Mm-hmm.
and also being collaborative and trying to find that middle ground too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you know what's cool? It was doing the bear hunt, that being a new experience. We talked about this a little bit. Sort of got me to like reflect on why I hunt and what's important to me and all that stuff. So that's why when the moose tag came up, all that stuff was kind of fresh in my mind, and I was trying to think about what I want from the hunt, right?
yeah,
But I think we can get it.
yeah. I think we'll
like-
split that middle ground.
I think so.
I think we'll find
I'm-
something. And
I'm
don't forget,
picturing,
BC is big.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Sometimes, like, you see these regions, and there's so many regions in the province, and it's like, oh, this doesn't look like a humongous area. But then you
Mhm.
get there and you look around, and you're like, oh yeah, this is huge.
Yeah. once
So
you
I
get
think
in it.
it'll surprise us that way too.
Yeah, I was looking for hiking trails and doing some research that way And that was one of the sort of discouraging things, that there's no like park area in there or hiking trails or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's like strictly logging area basically. There's some bigger lakes that I guess are a bit known for recreation in the summertime and stuff like that, because they're close to a certain town and they're accessible. But I'm pretty sure we can get away, and we've got, how many days have we got up there?
10 to 14, depending.
Yeah, if we leave on the weekend.
Yeah.
Instead of Monday.
I mean, yeah, I think most people are open to 14 if we need it, but I think we've kind of planned it as 10.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can get up, like with the sheep hunt, it took 22 hours to drive up there.
Yeah,
This'll
the only
take-
thing I was starting to think about is, so when we went north, you're still calling that a sheep hunt, eh?
Sheep hunt turned into elk hunt /
Camping
hiking trip.
What I've sort of been going over from that trip is that, like, it took X amount of days to get a feel for the land that we were set up in.
Right.
So, it'd be nice to get there, if we can get there a little bit early, get a few extra days on the front end, because we have to be back by that date we've chosen, no matter what. Basically, we can't extend it on the back end of the trip, but we can add days on the front if we want, if we left before the weekend.
Right.
So if we can get there, get established, get a feel for things a little bit earlier, maybe we get lucky and we find a moose, like within the first 5 days or something like that.
Yeah.
But it might take us a while to get a feel for where the moose actually are.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part about going into new areas, is you have to figure them out. You have to cover a lot of ground before you start to find sign and everything else. So maybe it might make sense if we left on the Saturday instead of the Monday.
Well, we can't though, because there's birthdays and people going to concerts in different cities.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why. That's
Who's
why we
going?
have to leave on the Monday.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. There's spouses' birthdays and concert tickets involved.
Who's got concert tickets?
Kyle.
Oh. You fuckers booking stuff and marrying chicks who got birthdays in October.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Man, I mentioned this before. So my wife's birthday is October, like first week of October, and then my anniversary is first week of September.
Yeah.
And this is a problem when you get into hunting when you're 30
Yeah.
years old, is
Even if
you
you
get
don't
into all
hunt.
these contracts before you realize.
Yeah. If you don't hunt right now, just keep this in mind, that one day you might hunt.
Yeah.
So plan around that. So don't marry a girl who's born in October or any hunting month, September, October, November. And don't get married in September either.
Usually you can, if you've got, if you're lucky, you can go hunting once in a while.
You know
on
what we
those
should
weeks,
do?
right? But you can't do it every year.
We should move Bree's birthday.
Yeah.
And we could move Ashley's too, because she's born on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
We'll just have like a middle of summer birthday for both of them.
Yeah.
And then we got it covered.
Well, we got the elk over Bree's birthday.
So maybe it's good locks. Wait, you're not home. All right, so
You have a
scrap that
point.
plan. We can't leave any earlier. Can we leave Sunday?
I don't know.
Maybe
Well,
Kevin and I will go
We'll
up
have to
earlier
talk
then.
it out. We got the moose hunt text thread there, so
Yeah.
the sooner we open up.
Kevin and
like-
I have no obligations, so
No.
maybe we can go up and set up camp.
Well, Kev took last year off. That's why. That's why he doesn't have any obligations
Yeah,
this
that's
year.
true.
He's got a free card this year.
He does. Well, as far as I know, anyways. Which wouldn't be the worst idea if the two of us went up early.
Yeah,
See if we can
Yeah.
find a camp
you're right.
spot. Maybe I'll take the inReach from you.
I
I'll let
can
you
go
know.
up early too.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're not going to leave Kyle to travel by himself. but,
Fuck you, Kyle.
yeah, we can figure something out. If a
Nice.
couple guys go up early, that would work.
Yeah. So here's the image I have, Kelly. And I hope it's an Instagram photo.
Yeah.
It's the yellow clipper canoe with a big fucking moose rack hanging out the front of it.
Yeah, that'd be unreal. It'd be a lot better than the image I have in my head.
Which is what?
Norris falling through my $100 sill tarp.
Did he rip a hole on it?
He did.
Bastard. Hey, I kept
What an
meaning
ass.
to ask Garrett. He had those little clear sticky.
Oh, patchies.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where'd you get those from?
Was it Kafaru?
I don't
With
know.
his tent?
Yeah, because that's what he was using them on. Because
Oh,
I burned
yeah,
a
I'm not
hole in
sure.
my sleeping bag up there from the Kafaru stove. Kicked a spark on it and burned a hole in it. But Garrett stuck one of those on there for me.
Yeah,
Those are
good
handy
point.
to have.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah.
Maybe we can.
Everybody should have a few of those in their pack, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out and let folks know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure everybody's had a hole in a cell tarp.
Or a sleeping bag from a spark or your rain gear or whatever.
So just to like paint a picture though, this.
Yeah.
So we're leaning up against a rock, this big boulder that's about 4 feet high, and
It's kind of like a little shelf that comes down here.
Yeah, and I had staked out the one half of the sill tarp on top of the rock, and just extended it out like a shelf to my trekking poles. So then, of course, this genius dog thinks that it's something he can walk on. That didn't go very well.
He tried like 3 times before that too while
Yeah.
you were setting it up.
Yeah,
He's
lesson
looking at
learned
it. Yeah.
for both of us.
Good job, Norris. Nice.
Oh man.
So yeah, we got lots of planning to do.
So what else is new though? So we've got an announcement.
Yeah. I'm assuming that Gray Thornton, I think I was saying his name before, there's an N in there,
Thornton.
kicked off the episode with a little, I don't know, explanation of what the Wild Sheep Foundation is and how they work and where all the money goes. And we're super excited to bring them on as a sponsor. It really aligns with what this show is about, which is conservation and all that. So I'm pretty excited about it. It also means that we're on a weekly schedule now. So guys can expect a show every single week,
Yeah.
which is going to be a bit of work for us.
Yeah.
But we've always wanted to do it that way, but there's never been any obligation to do it that way.
Yeah.
So now we have to.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the Wild Sheep Foundation's great because they've got integrity and they're
Yeah.
professional and genuine. So I think that's something that we always strive to do with this podcast. As informal as
Yeah.
sometimes it is, we're trying to represent hunting in a certain way for ourselves, but
And sheep hunting kind of fits into the whole rookie mindset. It's a hunt that we've never done, even though you call that a sheep hunt.
and it's a lot of people have never done.
Yeah, and we're so lucky in BC that we can buy a tag over the counter. That's unheard of for the most part, right? There's some places you can do it, but BC's spoiled rotten that way. So next year I think is going to be dedicated to a sheep hunt somewhere. It's probably going to involve a fly-in, and it's going to be a totally different hunt than anything we've done. So we've got a lot to learn from that type of an experience, and I can almost guarantee we'll be at Sheep Show again next year.
Yep.
And anybody who's listening, who's thinking about becoming a member and stuff like that, become one and come down to Sheep Show. It's a bit of an expense, but man, it's fun. You know, you can get a hotel room and share it with 4 guys. It's not so bad. It's just getting down there, and you're gonna meet tons of cool guys, lots of people you've heard on our podcast, and guys who have their own podcast, and it's such a cool way to network with guys, and
Yeah, it's a blast for
And
sure.
to see all that money. Like, the auctions are admittedly exhausting to listen to for 3 days, but it's super exciting to see what some of these guys are throwing down for an opportunity to hunt. And yes, they're
Not even for an opportunity though, because they could technically just buy a guide,
true.
right? But they're putting down 4 times that amount.
Yeah,
they
because they're
know it's going
passionate
to
about it.
something.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people think that it's a bunch of rich guys and whatever, it's only for them, but it's not. You get a mix of everybody, and especially if you live in BC, you can hunt, and this organization is what's keeping these on the mountaintops, along with Wild Sheep Society BC and everybody who partners together to make sure that they continue to be here. It's huge, man. And if we could do that for caribou, for example, nobody's doing that for caribou, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where there's no funding for them, and they're pretty much disappearing.
Yeah, it's kind of the animals we value, regardless of why, are the ones that will stick around forever.
Yeah.
So I think that's something people need to consider,
For sure.
and kind of look past certain things that they may not agree with, and kind of, sometimes the reality is a hard one.
Yeah.
And sometimes people hunt these animals and they're using the meat and they're getting amazing experiences. And I don't know, I don't want to go into the whole like hunter, anti-hunter thing, but
Yeah.
I just feel like there's more to the story, and we're preaching to the choir. But
Thing is, it doesn't matter if you're a hunter or a non-hunter. If you like to see these guys on the mountaintops, you have to acknowledge the fact that they're there, because some people are willing to spend the money to make sure they stay there.
Yeah.
Right?
And you mentioned the partners too. So with Wild Sheep Society BC, we have contacts there, Chris, that's been on the show, and we'll be working with them too moving forward, talking about action items and goals that Wild Sheep Foundation and Wild Sheep Society BC have. Maybe we'll sit in on a burn in the fall.
Love to.
Do a live podcast from the burn.
That'd be sweet.
That'd be pretty cool. And then disease is obviously one of the key.
Huge. And you know what, man? They send out a
issues.
newsletter, and they're starting to find it in other species.
Yeah.
Caribou, they found it in. Mule deer, whitetail,
Yep.
which is the Moby, whatever
The pneumonia.
Yeah. So that's not good. And that's what I think probably one of the main issues that we're up against and trying to combat.
Yep.
Not an easy one to tackle. But
Yeah.
when you hear about it getting into species that are already at risk, like caribou are, that's not good.
Yeah, so we should, we'll work to get an expert on to talk about some of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
Lots of exciting things coming up.
So I should mention that I was the spring edition centerfold of the Wild Sheep Journal.
Yeah. Check it out on Instagram.
But Chris Barker's in there too. Did you see that?
Oh, is he?
Oh yeah.
No, I didn't see
With
that.
his shirt open.
No.
Oh boy, that's a good one. We should post that one up there just for Chris's sake.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that was the sheep calling that he was doing. We weren't there that night.
Sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll look into that.
I think it's better than my photo.
Yeah, it's tough to beat too.
Yeah, actually, they might be on par with each other. So,
Nice.
yeah. Anything else, Cal?
Cool. No, I don't think so. I'm just trying to find out where my beer went.
Your what?
My beer.
That's important.
But
What's on
yeah,
tap?
I guess that's the Yellow Dog Brewing Company Take a Walk Wit, aka is that wheat beer
I don't know.
technically, and then the Strange Fellows Guardian, which is a white IPA, which I really like.
That was really good. Yeah.
Um,
Dragon Slayer.
yeah, good stuff.
Yep.
So
Cool.
yeah, just a chat on the mountainside. It's raining. It was raining, and then it was raining dogs for a second there.
Yeah.
And Norris flying through the air.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll head back down and we'll catch up later.
Sounds good. We'll see you
We'll
guys
finish
next
the
week.
meat transaction.
Oh yeah.
I threw all the mule deer in the freezer, so when we get back, I'll give you a bunch of salmon
Nice.
and halibut.
My freezer was looking good until I took half the mule
Emptied
deer
it
out of there.
out. Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This episode of The Rookie Hunter is sponsored by North Arm Knives. North Arm Knives are handcrafted and sold directly through a father and son team right here in British Columbia. Choose from a selection of outdoor knives, kitchen knives, and their brand new folding knife from northarmknives.com. They ship internationally and guarantee all their work. Callie and I use their products and give them our stamp of approval. Go to northarmknives.com.